Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. The Nasdaq could go up by more than twice as much from here on out. We're about to see another huge crypto run that will last until 2025. That's why we're seeing big moves that are caused by the debasement. What I think we'll do is make rounds of boom and bust. Once more, the bust cycle can't go below the level of central bank cash, since that would make it look like it's going up. People still don't get this. But of course, the stock market should drop 90%. It's impossible for it to happen because of the debasement. It's a money trick. There is still an upward long-term trend even though there are big price increases followed by drops. That's what I think we'll see. It will be more like the crypto cycle, which is pretty much what we just saw. Last year there was a big crash and now we're back to the boom. The ups and downs of economic action over time. Economies have gone through stages of boom and bust in the past with growth followed by recession. Several things like interest rates, inventory levels, and work output can change these cycles. Powell says that the business cycle isn't caused by one thing alone, even though interest rates do play a part. It has been seen for thousands of years. Powell thinks that when inflation gets too high, the central bank's role in controlling it, usually by raising interest rates, is an attempt to cool down the economy. But he says that interest rates would rise on their own in a free market, even if the central bank didn't do anything. This means that the business cycle is a natural part of economies and that any efforts to control it will only work for a short time. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and set your alerts to receive more videos like this. You can also watch our other videos about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general. Please share your thoughts and comments in the part below. For the channel's growth, everything you do is very helpful for the YouTube system. Thanks and have fun with the movie. It's called The Business Cycle and it shows how the economy goes up and down. That's a boom and bust or an expansion of the decline. Does it have to do with interest rates? The business cycle is something we don't really understand. Part of the reason for this is interest rates. It's caused by too much production, too many stocks, not enough stocks too. A business cycle can be caused by many things, but it can be seen and has been seen for thousands of years. And one thing that central banks usually do is raise interest rates when the economy is doing too well and prices are going up. In general, that slows down the economy. Interest rates would go up on their own, even if there wasn't a central bank. I believe that the free market can set interest rates without a central bank. The business then slows down again, and this keeps happening over and over again. Is that, okay, this is very clear because of how money is devalued. I think this link between assets and the central bank's balance sheet will last. It's also possible for me to guess what the business cycle will be like. Since that was 3.5 years ago, I also know how much interest I need to pay annually. I can also see how much the bank sheet will grow. What is the bank sheet now? About $6.5 quadrillion. It looks like it will get more than $7 trillion. It looks like it will reach $12 to $14 trillion by the end of 2025. That's it. And I've shown this a number of other times in this whole thing. I'll also send you the whole thing myself. I haven't really told everyone how it works, but in the end, that makes the prices of assets much higher than they are now. The Nasdaq could go up by more than twice as much from here on out. We are about to see another huge crypto run that will last until 2025. That's why we're seeing big moves that are caused by the debasement. In the Everything Code post I wrote for my premium research service, Global Macro Investors, I talked about a number of different ways to prove all of this. I believe I can do that. But I think what you said is very important. Okay, as you can see, I've sent this to a lot of people, and among the members to Global Backer Investor are some of the most well-known hedge fund managers and asset managers in the world. And I believe it shocked and moved a lot of people. They feel like, oh my God, I get it now. So everything makes sense after you see it. It's becoming more well-known as a theory, and Mike Howell at Cross Border Capital has been talking about some of these liquidity issues. You can now see liquidity being talked about on financial Twitter and other places. I believe we will cause cycles of boom and bust. Again, the bust cycle can't drop below the level of central bank cash because that would make it look like it goes up. People still don't get this. But of course, 90% of the stock market should fall. Not possible. It literally can't happen because of how low it is. It's a money trick. I think we'll go to the races instead. That's what took place in 2018. We actually deviated a lot from the central bank's balance sheet in 2018, okay, early 2019, because people started to figure out the game. As soon as the Fed stopped tightening, markets took off because they knew there was a good chance that the central bank would print more money. There will be more rate cuts soon. That's why we have boom and bust trends. That's why the boom times are too big. After that, you get a bust. Also, people know that from crypto. The long-term trend is still going strong. But there are big booms and then crashes, booms and crashes. The trend is still up though. That's what I think we'll see. It will be more like the crypto cycle, which is pretty much what we just saw. Last year we had a big fall. Right now, as we start to make predictions, we're back in the boom. Another important idea that Paul talks about is how bankruptcy has changed since 2008. By making the currency less valuable, central banks make sure that everyone pays for problems with the system. He points out that taxes can only be raised so much. To deal with their bills and boost the economy, governments instead print more money through programs like quantitative easing. The problem with this is that it lowers people's ability to buy things, which means that people who don't have assets like millennials can't afford things like real estate. Since 2008, we've been debasing the currency, which is the same thing as making the system bankrupt for everyone. When you say mutualizing, do you mean making things hard for everyone? Yes, you can either raise taxes, which is what they are also trying to do, but they're also printing money through a process called quantitative easing, which debases the currency. This makes asset prices seem to go up every time they do it. They do not really rise. If you look at the balance sheet of the central bank and divide all of its assets by that number, you change the number that is being divided. Most of the time, US dollars. But when you look at the balance sheet, you can see that this is how much money can buy. Now, how many dollars are in circulation? How many have been made in excess? It looks like the SP 500 hasn't gone anywhere. The gold in real estate hasn't gone anywhere. On the other hand, only Bitcoin and technology have done better than expected. So even though stocks are going up and our 401ks are going up, we all feel like no one is getting richer. We all know deep down that selling stocks doesn't make us richer because they don't help me buy a bigger house. For what reason did you buy the stocks? My things aren't getting more valuable. But that's a mutualization, which is bad because it splits the money between people who don't own anything. There will never be a time when you can buy something. That's why millennials say things like we can't afford a house. Why? Because they started working after the Federal Reserve started monetizing, which means cutting the value of the denominator. So the cost of real estate is going up for them. It's really not possible for them to buy land unless they get really lucky at work, in business, or in some other way. Become impossible. Anything that has value has become more valuable because of this mental illusion. Remember that wages haven't gone up. That's the most important thing. Goods are going this way. This is what we used to